Um, Holy shit, I don't know what to say. I know, I'm a terrible YouTuber. I haven't made a video in like probably 2 weeks. And I apologize again for the terrible video quality. My camera is failing me because I keep failing to charge my battery. But today, I feel very inspired to make a video because it's autumn and it's getting very cold. And the gas heater in my room is not working and I'm freezing to death. And I can really feel the autumn chill romantically running down my spine. It's a very lovely feeling. And today I had a revelation: pumpkin spice lattes. I realized that pumpkin spice has nothing to do with pumpkins at all. It's just cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, and probably ginger. I always thought that there's something off with Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes. I never liked it. I just thought it's like a giant liquid bar of carbohydrate that smells like cinnamon and that looks kind of mysteriously orange, which totally is unnatural. Because, well, if you ever try mixing pumpkin puree with coffee, which I did, it doesn't look orange at all. It looks like a very ugly fecal brown. Which is not very appetizing, but at least tastes like pumpkins. So I'm not sure what's in the Starbucks stuff. And no, this video is not really about pumpkin spice lattes. It's I decided to do an update on things and also a rant on the French administration. So here we go. So basically, during my 1.5 months in Paris, I kind of developed a love-hate relationship with the city. Yesterday, I went to this expat stand-up comedy show, and this comedian there said something that really resonates with me. She's like, being in Paris is like staying in an abusive relationship. So there's some days when you go out and you see like the buildings, the architecture, you see great art, you go to the theater, you see a great show, you're like, life is wonderful. And then, like, there are like days when you break down crying because the French administration, and then you walk in the streets and there's dog shit everywhere, and you're like, oh my god, this is the worst city ever. So it's always, vacillating between these two extreme, the extremely beautiful and lovely and inspiring, and the extremely mundane and even unpleasant. The first thing I want to talk about is subway stations. Yes, and I'm not talking about the overwhelmingly lovely smell and the warm air of the Paris subway that makes it so irresistibly famous. I'm talking about the fact that some subway entrances don't have ticket vendors. Yes, which is something I really don't understand about Paris. You think that this is such an iconic historical city as Paris, they should have figured that out by now, but well, they haven't. So one day, I went to a bar with a couple friends, and by the time I got out of the bar, it was already past midnight. So obviously I wanted to go home as fast as possible because I knew it wasn't very safe. So I went down to the subway station, I went down the subway entrance, and it looked very big. It looked like a major-ish entrance. It's not like a small one. So you would expect at least there will be one vendor machine there. But no, there's nothing. You would assume that if someone decides to enter a subway entrance, then chances are they want to take the subway. And if they want to take the subway, then chances are said person might want to pay for his or her transportation. Or not. I ended up not paying for it because a guy walked behind me, which I assumed to be a rapist, actually helped me get past the bar. But like, seriously, what if that guy is a real rapist? At which point you might want to ask, so Lucy, why don't you buy a Metro Pass? Why do you have to buy a ticket every single time? Well, I'm glad you mentioned it because I've been waiting for a Metro Pass for a month now. And this is the thing that I don't get about French administration. Okay, I won't generalize. Parisian administration, they'd like everything to be sent by mail, even though it's within the same freaking city. So of course I sent out all my documents, my student card photocopies, everything else, this nicely filled out form, and to the address. And 3 weeks later, when they finally got around to processing my file, they finally sent a letter to me telling me that, whoops, sorry, the attestation of scolarité. And they sent me a letter, and I saw it in my mailbox. I'm like, oh yes, finally, Metro passed. But then I opened it, and they said, whoops, sorry, so the attestation de scolarité that you sent us is not really conform? How do you say that in English? It's not really the right format. You have to, would you mind just doing it again with our format and get your school to sign it? And, okay, so obviously I did. And I went to my school, went to the administration. The office wasn't open on Wednesday afternoons and Friday afternoons. So I had to go again and got it filled out. And I had to send the thing by mail again. Which brings me to the next point. Okay, post offices here, they don't sell envelopes. And me, being a super cheap foreign student, I don't want to go to like a stationery shops and buy a whole batch of envelopes, because I need three. I calculated. I did my math. So I thought, well, I could just buy one at the post office because that's what I'm used to doing. So I went to the post office and I saw this shelf, and there's like 5 or 6 battered old envelopes on the shelf that look like they've been there since 1995, and they've been attached by tape to the shelf, which means they're obviously not for sale. So I went up to the welcome desk and asked the lady, excuse me, I'm really lost here because I need an envelope. Would you please help me? And she's like, what? She doesn't get it. Why would anyone need an envelope in the post office? And I'm like, I have this mail to send, you know? And she's like, what do you want? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez? I'm like, I need an envelope. And she said very aggressively, c'est la papeterie, pas ici. I'm like, great, thanks. So I ran down to the nearest papeterie near me, which is like 500 meters away, and ran there, got this whole batch of envelopes, came back, stamped my letter, and then no, you can't just leave your letter at the post office, okay? You stamp your letter at this auto, self-help machine. It won't even stamp the letter for you. You go there, you stamp your own little letter, and you have to step back and find one of those yellow post boxes and stick it in there and pray to God that your letter won't get lost. I don't know, I have such a phobia for outdoor post boxes. I always feel like something's gonna happen to my letters. For example, there's gonna be a storm and all the letters are gonna get wet, or like maybe when the postman comes to recuperate the letters, there's gonna be this like stray dog who's gonna eat my letter, and I won't be able to ever get my Metro Pass. But yeah, the point is right now I'm still waiting. Oh, I'm so heartbroken. Are they all misanthropes? Do they all hate interacting with real people? Do they really have to, make all those self-help machines and make you send everything by mail? Why is that? Why? Are people really that disagreeable here that they have to resort to such extreme measures? I'm so sad. But on the other hand, I'm gonna talk a little more about my French abilities and the progress or lack thereof that I'm making here. Well, for one thing, it's been a month and a half, and I've been getting a lot more comfortable taking notes. I remember the first lecture, I didn't know all the scientific words in French, so every time the prof says something, I had to write my little phonetic alphabet notation there so that I won't forget next time the prof says it. But right now, I can pretty much read the slide and listen to the prof at the same time and take notes with relative ease. But that, again, depends on the prof. Yeah, I just find a lot of things easier to deal with. Or for example, I can sort of talk to people more spontaneously, or at least understand them without thinking too much or straining my ears too much. But because I'm a very kind of inhibited person, I get tongue-tied when I try to actually speak. And the one more thing I want to talk about is the issue of vocabulary. So I've been reading a lot of literature lately. My dad's been discouraging me from reading. Sorry, I can't speak English right now. From reading literature, because he's like, well, that kind of vocabulary is too highfalutin. You won't need it in everyday conversation. You want to focus on the slang, you know. But that's totally not true, because when you see a word in a novel, I've been reading The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and you look up a word and you think to yourself, okay, why do I need to know this word? Why do I need to know what a black sheep is? And you kind of look it up and you think you forgot all about it after, but actually it's already registered in your subconscious. And then you watch a movie and then you hear that word and bam, there's so much, you realize that it's not all in vain. There's so much possibilities for comprehension, even for the most obscure vocab words. And sometimes you look up a word, you don't think you will ever run across it again, and you always do at the most unexpected moments, and it really, really helps with comprehension. That's why I make a point to always look words up, even though I already understand the entire text, more or less, like the main meaning. I feel like it's all about being rigorous in your approach to learning, because that's ultimately the difference between B2 and C1, or if you don't know what that is, it's like a French language test to determine your level. So yeah, a lot of time has been dedicated in looking up words. I never purposely try to remember them because I know they will look familiar to me the next time I see them. But I think my vocab has considerably expanded, which is very nice. Yeah, things are getting quite busy. I have 3 upcoming assignments that I already know of, and God knows how many else that I don't know of. I'm a little nervous. I have a group assignment with another girl who's been very helpful and understanding. It's been great. I really don't know how to end this one. I hope you have a lovely autumn, and I really hope my gas heater gets fixed. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye.